Good morning, and thanks for joining our session. I hope that you guys have enjoyed today's programming so far and networking time, and you've had some opportunity to meet with some folks. Don't worry if you guys missed some opportunities to meet other attendees and things. We'll have plenty of more opportunities and a networking session after this. So let's dive in. My name is Haritha Shematek. I work for Accenture Federal Services, or Accenture, and I've been with Accenture for a little over 16 years. My background is in business process architecture, really focused on optimizing business process through implementation of various tools and software. I have been with SSA and supporting SSA for the last 6 years, and primarily focused on and been able to be a part of their journey, moving to the cloud and also implementing ServiceNow. So at SSA, my primary focus has been implementing ServiceNow. I also have my colleague here, Erica Palermo. Later on in this presentation, we're going to be demoing, and Erica is going to be running through that demo with you guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Palermo. I've been with Accenture for about 9 years. With SSA for about 3 years, implementing ServiceNow, particularly their cloud services. I'll hand it back over to Haritha for now.
Thanks. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about SSA's cloud journey and their implementation of ServiceNow's cloud management platform, or what is now called cloud provisioning and governance within ServiceNow. So that's CPG. SSA's IT cloud initiative started back in 2015, and it quickly became a cloud first and cloud smart strategy with a mandate that all new development at the agency happen in the cloud. So with that, SSA knew that they needed help managing and operating their cloud environments in order to keep up with the resource demands brought on by this new mandate. So specifically, they knew that they needed a cloud management platform to provide oversight, management, and orchestration capabilities across their entire environment and ecosystem. There are so many complexities to standing up and migrating to the cloud for a federal government agency, from systems administration, governance, provisioning, monitoring, and workload evaluation, that it's really hard to wrap your arms around all of that without the support of a tool like ServiceNow. So all of this needs to be broken into manageable chunks. It's not something that can be done all at once. So SSA's focus with the initial implementation of ServiceNow CMP was to implement a service catalog and self-provisioning portal that heavily leveraged orchestration and incorporated workflow automations through Ansible Tower. And tied to this was real-time visibility into the resources that were provisioned, leveraging ServiceNow CMDB, as well as IT service management for the resources that were provisioned. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. And SSA has already seen a ton of value through the implementation. The largest impact being with the orchestration and automation. It frees up people in the cloud organization to further SSA's cloud journey with a focus on offering additional services in AWS, and then also just expanding their entire cloud service provider ecosystem. Over the next year and a half, through bi-weekly release cycles, SSA will continue to automate with the goal of full automation, all the way from a request coming in to the provisioning of a resource with no intervention from cloud technicians. This truly gets them to their vision of building once and deploying often. So SSA also looks to increase visibility and by building out aggregated budgeting, cost, usage, reporting across all of these CSPs. So as they incorporate Microsoft Azure and other cloud service providers, they want to be able to provide different areas of the organization with a comprehensive and seamless and kind of one-stop view of their usage and budgeting and through reports in ServiceNow. So that's kind of the next step and what we're looking forward to. So let me showcase kind of all of what I've explained with a quote from David Gray, who is the director of the SSA Division of Infrastructure Services, which manages all of the cloud infrastructure that they have currently. So what David kind of talks about in his quote is really, what they needed to do to unlock, to get to a point where they were showcasing and really utilizing automation. And just the fact that because of the IT modernization and cloud mandates, they needed to think fast about how to react and how to actually keep up with the demands, because they weren't getting additional staff, but just with the mandate, there was a 50% annual growth in cloud and kind of Linux systems without, additional staff. So they needed to be able to support that. So that's what David Gray kind of talks about in his quote. So now I'm going to hand it over to Erica to walk through our demo. We like to kind of showcase two different parts for this demo. One is the user experience. So what does it look like from a user perspective as a requester coming in to request services from this cloud division and David Gray? So our service portal here at SSA is an internal facing portal. And the focus is primarily on the catalogs that various groups will offer at the agency. And one of those you can see is the cloud services catalog. We're pretty early in the implementation of this particular enterprise-wide ServiceNow portal. And because of that, you only see two catalogs, but we're quickly expanding this out at the agency, which is really, really awesome to be a part of. But let's jump into the cloud services piece. So here on the cloud services catalog, you'll see that we have about 19 catalog items. So pretty significant number of items. And these range from day one provisioning of new resources in the AWS cloud. Also, there's some more management pieces. You see this new cost center and project piece. And then there's also a maintenance element, so support and maintenance tickets for the day one resources that are provisioned. So this would be considered more day two provisioning and kind of management of the resources. So that's what the catalog contains now. Again, the future focus is really on expanding this catalog as well as building out additional catalogs for other cloud service providers. So next, we will take just we'll jump over and show you one of the resources. What we wanted to highlight here is along the lines of automation and kind of the ability to take in data quickly. We wanted to show you kind of what an AWS S3 bucket form looks like. There's a lot of auto population on our forms, which has been really awesome. It leads to a standardization of data. And what's really neat is we get to leverage the CMDB as well a lot in our data population. But on this particular form, something we wanted to show you was the use of kind of auto generation based on pretty complex logic. In the past, SSA used to kind of manually key in the bucket name for an S3 bucket. But just in having conversations with them and kind of expanding out on where we could optimize, they were able to provide us enough detail. And we were able to actually create auto generation of the bucket name. So there's no hands in the pot anymore on this. And there's a standardization to all the bucket names in AWS now, which is really neat. And this is the same for EC2 instances, other resources provisioned through SSA, through ServiceNow, and the Ansible Tower, which we'll talk about a little bit as well. So that's a little bit on the form automation. What we also wanted to talk to is kind of where these forms go after they are submitted. So once a user submits this form, it goes through a couple steps in a workflow built through Flow Designer and ServiceNow. But the biggest and kind of neatest part of this is the flow design, the workflow in ServiceNow ends with an action, an orchestration action to trigger Ansible Tower. And SSA leverages playbooks in Ansible Tower. And at the end of our workflows in ServiceNow, we send all of the data from ServiceNow to Ansible Tower so that they can provision their resources automatically in AWS. So at the end of this workflow in ServiceNow, at the click of a button, the resource is provisioned in the cloud in AWS, which is really, really cool. Previously, what was happening is they would receive a request with data from a user, and then they would go into Ansible Tower and almost have to rekey all of that data so that they could provision in AWS. And then there were also instances where they were going into AWS directly to provision a bucket or an EC2 instance. So all of that has really been streamlined and optimized through the use of ServiceNow CMP, where we were able to build in the orchestration here. So that's a bit about the user experience. Now I wanted to jump into the Cloud User Portal and the Cloud Admin Portal, which are both out of the box portals from ServiceNow. The Cloud User Portal here, which is what Erica's showing right now, is a really quick and easy way for the cloud division, so all the cloud technicians, to kind of see what work is out there across all the different resources that they provision. And when they look at these charts, these donut charts are all dynamic. And they're able to just click into each of these and actually then see a list of the resources that kind of meet that criteria. And they can actually take action on them directly from there. So this is really neat dashboard for them because it made it gave them a comprehensive view across all of the resources and services they provide, and then gave them the ability to actually act on those, on kind of what's out there directly from here. So they don't have to go to multiple places. They can just come here, click on the list, and then kind of drill down into things and act on the needs at that point. So this was a quick look at the user portal. So now I think we can jump into the Cloud Admin Portal to show you a little bit about how SSA leverages the CMDB. So thus far in this demo, we've kind of showed you the user experience, and then talked a little bit about where that user experience leads, how it provisions a resource. Well, what happens after they provision the resource? Well, in the Cloud Admin Portal, you're able to see at a very high level for each of the accounts within AWS that SSA has, a quick view going into an account, a quick view of the resource types and the numbers of resources that are in that. So this is all through discovery, cloud discovery in ServiceNow. It pulls back all the resources that are provisioned in AWS and brings them back into ServiceNow CMDB. And what that allows is this view to see all of the resources and kind of see a list view of all the resources. And it also allows for a quicker process, a more optimized process for providing support and maintenance. When users come in, they're not typing in what resource they need support and maintenance on. They're able to kind of tie back to what's in the CMDB and the CIs in the CMDB, select their resources from that, and there's a tie back. So there's less possibility of errors in data entry and things like that. So it's really a full circle. You know, we start the process in ServiceNow, we provision through ServiceNow, and then coming back into ServiceNow, we see all of the resources from AWS. And again, we talked a bit about kind of where they're looking to go. Now that we have all of this CMDB data, we're also looking, SSA is also looking to start to, do usage and budgeting, and we'll likely leverage cloud insights through ServiceNow to do all of that. So it's really neat to kind of be a part of this and see all the data that we can leverage to optimize their processes. So I think that pretty much completes our demo portion. Let's see. That really is just a quick snapshot of what SSA has implemented to date. We can't wait to see what they have in store and in mind as they progress through their cloud journey. And we're just really honored to be a part of it. It's been an exciting process to put all of their processes in place with them, and see their vision and their mission, and help them implement it. If you guys, and before we wrap up, just a quick reminder that there is kind of a 5-minute transition break before our final round of technical breakouts. So please take the opportunity to stretch your legs a bit, and then the final round of breakouts will kick off at 11:30 for you guys. We'd like to be sensitive on time and things, but please enter any of your questions in the chat box, or you can come visit our booth as well after the session and we can answer your questions. Either way, but we hope to kind of talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for joining us.